I just collect the keys and then I vanish, or... hard. I must have missed something.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over a many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "Oh my God, America, go away!" I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. He's a prick, nothing more.
That's incredible.
Distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon my floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, and vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore, the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, not my cousin any more. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late night visitor entreating entrance to my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact that I was napping, as gently you so came rapping, and so faintly came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal has ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness no token, and only one word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" Then as I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the burning chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard the tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely there is something at my window lattice. Let me see what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and a flutter, in stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord and lady perched upon my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. Perched and sat, nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering upon the nightly shore. Tell me, what is thy lordly name on this night Plutonian shore?" Quoth the raven, "Fuck you!"
Ironically, while you were reading, I found a dead bird. Fitting. Still having a hard time being lost.
Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing the bird above his chamber door. Bird nor beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door was such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further that he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes had flown before." And then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled as the stillness broke my reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught in some unhappy master who unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. But the raven still beguiled on my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird, and bust and door, and then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy onto fancy, thinking of what this ominous bird of yore, this grim, ungainly, ghast, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking, "Fuck you!" This I sat engaging and guessing, but no syllable expressing, to that fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and no more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining and that lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet violet lining and that lamplight gloating o'er? She shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the roughed floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, quaff this kind nepenthe, forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, think of evil, prophet still of bird or devil. Whether tempter set or tempest toss thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, thing of evil! Prophet still, if bird or devil, if that heaven it bends above, that God we both adore, tell this soul of sorrow laden if, within that distant Eden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden upon whom the angels named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden who the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend! I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back to the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of what lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave thy loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from my heart. Take thy form off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid dust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and on the lamplight o'er him, streaming, throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Crow in the back.
That's a good job. There's a rabbit right there, too. I think he was listening.
Rabbit just... Thump, 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 thump. You know, it's been so long since I've read that poem. I feel like it fits the atmosphere, though.
Wow, I think so, says the crow in the tree. Yeah, says the frog.
I thought you were a rabbit. My eyes really are failing me today. Takes off his glasses, rubs them on his shirt. Well, you guys got cards? If I'm stuck in an enchanted forest with a possibly murderous ghost, might as well pass the time.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good. I've got a pack of cards here. You guys want to play some blackjack?
Let's go sit while we figure out what the fuck to do.